Senators. The former FDA Associate Commissioner and President of the Centers for Medicine and the Public Interest, Professor Peter Pitts, joins me live. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Thank you.
Let's start with COVID vaccine approval for children. California Governor Gavin Newsom said he would mandate the COVID vaccine for children participating in in-person learning as soon as the vaccine gets full FDA approval for kids as young as 5. A few months ago, the FDA advisory panel was looking at vaccines for children. Some on that panel were concerned full approval would lead to mandates, but the FDA's biologics chief, Peter Marks, said that was unlikely. What do you think about the COVID vaccine mandate from children, and what do you think the new lead will think of it?
Well, initially, what the FDA has to do is follow the data. The FDA can't approve vaccines willy-nilly because it serves some people's political needs, whether that's the White House or Governor Newsom's. Obviously, people are concerned that there's politics involved here with the COVID-19 vaccine, and those concerns have to be addressed directly. And I think the FDA, by saying, listen, we've got to put brakes on this, the data isn't all in, helps to move that agenda forward. Personally, I don't think mandates work. I think you have to convince people to get to do the right thing. Mandates simply create a divide, and you can't force people to do what they don't want to do. And that's especially dangerous when it comes to kids. Parents want to have to get their kids vaccinated. They have to emotionally agree and intellectually understand why that's an important thing to do. And my fear is that mandates just drive people away from that rather than convincing them to do the right thing. It convinces them to not do the right thing. So I think that mandates don't get the job done. We've got to get kids vaccinated. And the way to get it done is to convince parents that it's the right thing to do, that it's a smart thing to do, and that science backs up that decision.
How do we convince parents who are putting politics aside and they're just worried that their healthy children don't need a vaccine for a virus that has very little to no effect on them, very low risk of their young children, healthy children going to the hospital because of COVID, yet there are reports from their friends that their kids have developed myocarditis. Their healthy children have myocarditis now after receiving the vaccine. What do you tell those parents?
Well, you have to present them with the facts. You know, there is a greater chance of children developing myocarditis by not being vaccinated, by getting COVID-19, than by getting vaccinated. Vaccines are safe and effective, and the chances of side effects are extremely slim. Also, clearly, kids are very healthy. If they get sick, they don't get sick for a very long time, but they also are little incubators. And by not having a child vaccinated, you are making other people's kids and other people just more generally at risk for getting infected. I don't think that's a very complicated concept to say. Why government can't say that plainly and regularly is beyond me. The fact that our government, both on the federal and state level, can't communicate their way out of a paper bag is troubling.
We know now that even if you're vaccinated, you could still get it, you could still spread it. My children have both had COVID, recovered from it, no heart problems, it barely touched them. What do you tell other parents I know a lot who are in my same shoes?
Well, I think you've got to tell them, one, the vaccine is safe and effective. It does not cause heart problems. In fact, more people and more kids get these heart problems by getting COVID-19 than through vaccination. So that's kind of point one. Point two is it's not just for your kid, it's for everybody else's kid. It's the right thing to do. People get vaccinated for measles, mumps, rubella. People get vaccinated for the annual flu. We simply have to accept this is going to happen as well. Part of the problem was that early in the Biden administration, the president said, get vaccinated, you'll never get sick, you're free and clear. That's never been true. And as a result, when kids start getting sick after getting vaccinated, parents say, hey, what's going on here? It goes back to the miscommunication about how vaccines work, which again goes back to the basic premise of we need to educate the American public in ways that they're ready to hear and willing to believe. And for example, a lot of people who aren't vaccinated, who are vaccine hesitant, don't like Tony Fauci. Tony Fauci has had a long career in public health, but right now he's become part of the problem. It's time for him to step aside and allow somebody like the Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, to become the administration's spokesperson on COVID-19. We have to make the messenger fit the message. And we're continuing to allow Tony Fauci to be on TV talking about COVID-19 vaccines, I think is counterproductive.
Not all lawmakers are happy about Dr. Califf's confirmation. Moderate Democrat Senator Joe Manchin said that he was concerned about Califf's ties to the pharmaceutical industry. When Biden nominated Califf, Manchin said it was an insult to the millions of families who have lost a loved one due to the opioid epidemic. Can you see where Manchin is coming from?
I can definitely see where he's coming from, but I don't believe that he's correct. Rob Califf is, the right guy at the right time to lead the FDA. He's a scientist. He understands the FDA. He listens to the patient voice. Rob Califf did not cause the opioid crisis. Rob Califf was commissioner under President Obama for 11 months. 11 months isn't really enough time to accomplish anything as big as solving the epidemic of opioids. I see where Senator Manchin is coming from. The FDA needs to do a better job in terms of its regulations on opioids, but slamming him as the cause of the problem is unfair. I think he's the right guy to solve this problem as well as other problems, and to keep FDA on track to stimulate innovation, to become a partner with the public health. So I'm pleased with this final confirmation of Rob Califf. The fact that it took the president over a year to get somebody in that seat, however, is not forgivable.
Let's talk high prescription drugs right now, because that's taking a toll on many Americans. You say Dr. Califf will put a stop to drug company shenanigans. What does that mean? Do you think he can and he will help lower prescription drug prices?
Well, obviously, the FDA doesn't control pricing. The FDA brings products to market. But, there are lots of games being played with what industry says it will do once a drug is approved and what they actually do. I think Rob Califf recognizes that if the FDA is going to be a partner in bringing new drugs to market more swiftly, industry has to play ball and recognize if they don't tell the FDA how these drugs are actually operating in the real world by sharing data in real time with the FDA, the agency can't do its job. So I think Rob Califf is going to say, listen, if you want to be a partner, that's a two-way proposition. You've got to be a good partner. You've got to give us the data. You've got to do the right thing. And if your drug is not performing the way it's supposed to, we need to know, and we need to know as quickly as possible so that we can do the right thing, including withdrawing that drug from the market.
Okay, so Dr. Califf, he previously served as FDA commissioner under President Obama. So do you think he will lead to innovation and change in the FDA when he already had the opportunity to do that under Obama?
Well, like I said, he was commissioner for 11 months. And in that time, he did a lot. He put into place validation methodologies so that we can collect, real-time data from the real world and find ways to validate it, to use it in regulatory science. That's a huge step forward. It sounds kind of geeky and wonky and nerdy, but it's amazingly important. And let me tell you, underneath that soft-spoken Southern exterior is a razor-sharp scientific mind. Rob Califf does not suffer fools gladly, and that includes fools who might be in Congress, in the White House, or in industry.
All right, Dr. Peter Pitts, you also have a new book out called The Next Normal, on store shelves now. Not the new normal. Let's be clear, the next normal. So thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.